You start to realize that true happiness doesn't come from external circumstances, but from the peace that comes from within. What if I told you that just 4 simple agreements could completely transform your life and set you free from unnecessary pain and stress? That's exactly what Don Miguel Ruiz explores in his book, The 4 Agreements, a timeless guide rooted in ancient Toltec wisdom. From the moment we're born, we're like blank slates, ready to absorb everything around us. But here's the thing. We don't start off in a world of freedom. We're born into a world where everyone around us is teaching us how to think, how to behave, and even what to believe. This process, Don Miguel Ruiz calls domestication. It's not something we choose, but it shapes who we become. Think about it. Your parents, your teachers, your community, they all set the rules. They tell you what's right and wrong, what's acceptable and what's not. You learn early on that if you follow the rules, you get rewarded with love and approval. If you step out of line, you face punishment or rejection. But here's the catch. All of these rules, all of these expectations, they're not really your rules. They're agreements made by society long before you even understood what an agreement was. And over time, these rules get buried so deep in our minds that we start believing them to be the truth about who we are and how the world works. This process of domestication doesn't just teach us to follow rules. It molds us into a version of ourselves that fits into the world's expectations. The result? We start to live a life based on fear, guilt, and the need to fit in. We carry the weight of other people's beliefs, and most of us don't even realize it. This is where the concept of the dream of the planet comes in. Ruiz explains that we're all living in a collective dream, a dream that is made up of the agreements we've inherited. It's a world full of illusions, illusions that we've been taught to believe are real. The fear, the judgment, the need for validation, these are all part of the dream we've been conditioned to accept. But here's the truth. This dream is not the only one. In fact, it's not even your dream to begin with, and that's the beauty of what Ruiz is offering us, the chance to wake up from this collective dream, to question the agreements we've made with ourselves and the world around us, to break free from the limitations of fear and self-doubt and create a new dream, a dream that is truly ours. So, how do we do that? Well, it starts with awareness. It starts with recognizing that we don't have to live by the old rules. We can rewrite our story. But to do that, we first need to understand the agreements we've been living by. Once we see them for what they are, we can start to create new agreements, ones that reflect who we truly are and what we truly want from life. This is just the beginning. Once we wake up from the dream of the planet, the real transformation begins. Ready to see the world differently? Let's dive deeper. Let me tell you a story. Imagine your words as seeds, and every time you speak, you plant those seeds in someone's mind. Now, those seeds can grow into beautiful flowers of encouragement or harmful weeds of negativity. This is the essence of the first agreement. Be impeccable with your word. It means speaking with honesty and kindness, avoiding gossip, and not using your words to harm yourself or others. When your words align with truth and love, they have the power to create beauty and transform lives, including your own. This is where the second agreement comes in. Don't take anything personally. It teaches us an important lesson about detachment. Often, we find ourselves hurt by someone's words or actions, believing they are directed at us or reflect something negative about who we are. But the truth is, what others say or do is not a reflection of our worth. It's simply a projection of their own reality, shaped by their experiences, emotions, and beliefs. When you understand this, you begin to see that people's opinions, whether positive or negative, are not about you. They're about the person speaking them. By letting go of the need to take things personally, you can protect yourself from unnecessary emotional pain and criticism. It helps you develop resilience, keeping your peace intact regardless of the external circumstances. The third agreement, don't make assumptions, addresses one of the most common causes of confusion and conflict in our relationships. We've all been guilty of making assumptions, thinking we know what someone else is thinking or feeling, or even assuming we know what's going to happen next. The problem is, these assumptions are often based on incomplete information, which can lead to misunderstandings. When we assume we know the motives behind someone's actions or the meaning behind their words, we create unnecessary conflict. We end up misinterpreting their intentions and causing emotional strain for ourselves and others. This agreement encourages us to break this habit of assuming. Instead, it advocates for clear and direct communication. If you're unsure about something, ask questions. Don't be afraid to seek clarification instead of filling in the blanks with your own interpretations. By asking for clarity, you open the door to better understanding and prevent the buildup of unnecessary tension. It's about recognizing that no one can read your mind, and likewise, you can't fully know what's going on in someone else's head unless they communicate it to you directly. When we stop assuming, we free ourselves from the stress and emotional turmoil that often come with misunderstandings. It's a powerful way to build trust, deepen relationships, and create a sense of peace, knowing that everyone is on the same page. By practicing this agreement, you make space for truth, empathy, and open dialogue, and you prevent the destructive cycle of assumptions from taking hold. Now that we've explored the 4 agreements, let's talk about how to break free from the old, limiting agreements that have been holding you back for years. Remember how we discussed domestication earlier? How, from childhood, we were taught beliefs, rules, and expectations that shaped who we are today. These agreements, made without our conscious choice, create limitations in our lives. They might tell you that you're not good enough, that you have to be perfect to be loved, or that failure is the end of the world. These old beliefs become deeply ingrained and control how we live, even if they no longer serve us. Breaking these old agreements starts with awareness. You have to recognize the stories you've been living by, the ones that were handed to you. Once you see them for what they are, you can begin to change them. It's not an overnight process, but it's worth it. The key to breaking free is replacing these limiting agreements with the 4 new agreements we've just discussed. Start with being impeccable with your word. Speak with integrity, and notice how it shifts the way you view yourself and others. Don't take anything personally. Let go of the need for validation and stop absorbing other people's judgments. Don't make assumptions. Practice clear communication and break the cycle of misunderstanding. Finally, always do your best. Understand that your best changes from day to day, and that's perfectly okay. By consciously practicing these 4 principles, you begin to rewrite the story of your life. You create new, empowering agreements that lead you to a more fulfilling, peaceful, and authentic life. The more you practice, the more you'll notice how much lighter, freer, and at peace you feel. So, start today. Break the chains of those old agreements and replace them with the 4 agreements. You're not just freeing yourself, you're creating a life that truly reflects who you are, not who the world told you to be. Breaking free from the old agreements is just the beginning of your journey to true freedom. Once you start identifying and releasing those limiting beliefs, You step onto what the Toltecs call the path to freedom. This path is all about shedding the fears, judgments, and self-imposed limitations that have been holding you back from living your best life. But here's the thing. Freedom doesn't just happen overnight. It's a process, a journey of transformation. The key to walking this path lies in developing deep self-awareness and embracing practices that help you stay connected to your true self. One powerful tool the Toltecs recommend is meditation. It's not just about sitting in silence, it's about creating space in your mind to observe your thoughts without judgment. When you meditate, you begin to see the patterns of your mind, the old agreements, the fear, the stories that no longer serve you. By bringing these patterns into the light, you start to break the hold they have over you. Alongside meditation, self-awareness is crucial. It's about paying attention to your thoughts, emotions, and reactions throughout the day. When you practice self-awareness, you can catch yourself in moments of fear or judgment and pause before reacting. This gives you the power to choose how you respond rather than being controlled by your old beliefs. Remember, walking the Toltec path to freedom isn't about perfection, it's about progress. The more you practice these tools, the more you'll notice how your life begins to shift. You'll feel lighter, freer, and more at peace with who you are. You'll start living not based on the old agreements of fear and judgment, but from a place of love, authenticity, and personal power. So, as you continue to break free from the chains of your past, keep walking this path with patience and self-compassion. Meditation, self-awareness, and the 4 agreements will be your guide. And along the way, you'll discover a life full of freedom and fulfillment, one that reflects the true, untamed version of you. Imagine living in a world where you are no longer controlled by fear, judgment, or the weight of past beliefs. A world where you're free to be yourself, live authentically, and experience peace in every moment. This is what the Toltecs call heavens on earth, and it's what happens when you fully embrace the 4 agreements. By practicing these 4 simple yet powerful principles, you begin to create a life of inner peace and happiness. You stop living according to the rules and expectations of others, and instead, you start living according to your true nature. You speak with integrity. You don't take things personally. You stop making assumptions, and you always do your best. As you let go of old fears and judgments, your world begins to shift. No longer weighed down by guilt, regret, or self-doubt, you begin to experience a profound sense of freedom. You start to realize that true happiness doesn't come from external circumstances, but from the peace that comes from within. This is what the Toltecs meant by heaven on earth, a state where you are fully aligned with your authentic self, where your actions are guided by love, and where your heart is free from the chaos of fear and judgment. It's a state where you experience life with clarity, joy, and gratitude, no matter what's happening around you. When you adopt the 4 agreements, you create a reality where you are no longer at the mercy of the world. You become the creator of your own experience, and in doing so, you create a world that is peaceful, loving, and true to you. So, why not start today? By living the 4 agreements, you can turn your life into your own version of heaven on earth. A place where peace, love, and happiness are not just dreams, but your everyday reality. In the end, the 4 agreements offer us a powerful blueprint for transforming our lives. By choosing to live with integrity, releasing the need for validation, embracing clear communication, and always doing our best, we create the space for true freedom and happiness. The journey isn't always easy. Breaking free from old agreements and patterns takes time, awareness, and practice. But with each step, you move closer to becoming the person you were always meant to be. You shed the weight of fear, judgment, and self-limiting beliefs, and in their place, you create a life full of peace, love, and fulfillment. The beauty of the Four Agreements is that they are simple, yet transformative. They are a guide to not just surviving life, but truly living it, authentically, fearlessly, and with purpose. So as you move forward, remember, the power to create your own heaven on earth is already within you. By living the Four Agreements, you open the door to a life that is free, vibrant, and truly your own. And in that, you'll discover that the freedom you seek was never outside of you. It was always inside, waiting to be unlocked.